St. Charles Parish website has a new look and a new name. Welcome to stcharlesparish.gov, the new and improved home for all things St. Charles Parish. For the past 10 months, the Public Information Office has worked with Granicus to overhaul the existing website and transformed it from top to bottom to create a more user-friendly and efficient experience. Our new site features improved navigation. As you hover over the menu items, you will see all the pages that the site has to offer. When you scroll down, the menu stays fixed at the top of the screen so that anytime you need to use it, it is right there. The Service Finder is intended to make navigation and decision-making less time-consuming for you. When you click the Service Finder, determine what you want to do by clicking the drop-down arrow. Narrow your selection in the next column and then click Learn More to find exactly what you are looking for. You can use this feature to adopt a pet, pay your water bill, learn more about what the parish has to offer, find employment, and more. You can also use our new and improved Smart Search tool. Once you search a term, you can filter your search down by department, content type, and more to get exactly what you are looking for. Our homepage features some of the most visited pages on our website. Be sure to explore news, the calendar, SCP alerts, SCP TV, and our social media sites as well. Analytics show more people visiting our site on a mobile device than ever before. That is why it was crucial that we create a user-friendly experience for both desktop and mobile users. To achieve this, we now use large buttons on all of our pages, making finding information, forms, and other links easier as well. Additionally, all pages on the site are responsive and viewable on mobile devices. The new St. Charles Parish website was redesigned with our residents in mind. Come and experience stcharlesparish.gov today.
After any storm, there is work to be done.
We begin a parish-wide damage assessment. We have crews that go out in the field. Every address in the parish gets visited. We take notes on what has happened to the structures, the degree of damage, and we compile that so that the parish president and FEMA has a full understanding of the impacts of the storm and where the parish is in terms of its housing stock.
And after a storm as significant as Hurricane Ida, there will be plenty of work that will need to meet code.
In short, structural damage to the house, electrical, anything with mechanics, your air conditioners, anytime power has been disrupted from the meter at the source of the house, if there's gas line disruptions, all of those things need permitting. There's a couple reasons for it. The most obvious ones are Entergy will often not re-energize a house without a permit being done through a licensed contractor. Atmos is the same way. They call it in verified. They will not release the service to the house without that inspection, so we set that up for them.
Director of Planning and Zoning, Michael Albers, says that the department has two goals for post-storm repairs and renovations: safety and recovery.
We're out there in the streets bringing information to residents. We are doing their permitting for them. So, if most people don't have time to deal with this, they have other things going on. But we will go out there and help them with the process, take their information down, help them out with what they need, and do the legwork for them so they can get their inspection scheduled.
In addition, Planning and Zoning is making sure residents don't take another hit of the financial sword.
Fees have been waived for basically any permitting requirement due to Hurricane Ida. So if you have to do a renovation, get your electrical meter corrected, even rebuild the structure entirely, those fees are all waived. And the general permit fees that we have are both for the review of plans and the inspections, but the entire package. terms of cost has been waived.
Residents who have suffered the greatest loss should also know that the parish recognizes the need for the use of temporary housing.
We understand temporary housing is a big challenge right now. So there are rules that are relaxed in terms of campers, RVs, travel trailers. You can have those on your property and you can live in them while you're doing your work, while you're rebuilding your house. All that we ask is that they are registered with the parish so that we know where they are. And again, with regards to safety, we need to go in and make sure that the electrical connections are safe and that the sewer connections are proper.
Albers also reminds us that meeting codes now could pay off later.
Honestly, the best defense against storms like this is the building code. You know, when you drive through the parish, there are some structures that were half built before code and half after, and the portions that were built to code have very little damage. Making sure that the work being done is up to current building code regulations is the best defense against future impacts from storms.
For more info, contact Planning and Zoning at 985-722-4473.
I felt worse yesterday than today. Here we go.
You know, they make these things called umbrellas.
What's it see? I'm following the Parish President. What is that? Exactly. Right.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council Meeting on Monday, October 4th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance from Pastor Chris Housewright with Grace Point Church in Destrehan.
Let's stand. Father God, we come to you right now, and Lord, we are asking you, Lord, to meet us where we're at. Lord, I pray for this parish, Lord. Lord, I pray for the recovery efforts. Lord, I pray for the men and women that have been elected as public servants. I pray that you would continue to use them, Lord, as we recover from this disaster. Lord, I pray for our schools. I pray Lord, for the businesses. I pray for our residents that have been displaced. Lord, I pray, Lord, for those that are searching for hope. And I pray that people would be drawn towards you, God. Lord Jesus, now we ask that you would be with this meeting, be with the decisions and the things that are said. Lord, we pray ultimately, God, that you would be glorified. And God, we ask these things now in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Houseright. Special business, proclamations, canvass returns. Item number 2021-0249, a resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of not to exceed $50 million of hurricane recovery renew notes of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Jewell or Mr. Producer?
Thank you, Chairwoman. I will turn it over to Grant and Jason Akers just to talk a little bit about this, but essentially this is a kind of a backup measure just in case we would need it. I'm going to call it a line of credit, but you'll find out here that it's not exactly a line of credit. That's just the easiest way to talk about it. But as we're getting these expenses in for the hurricane restoration, which right now is estimated at $63 million, we just want to have the ability to continuously pay our bills and to keep us on this path for restoration. And I did check on something. I know we kind of got you all some information last week on this line item. I worked with our consultants. If we were to have to borrow any of this money, the interest that we pay is a FEMA reimbursable expense. So I just wanted to check in on that because the cost of borrowing money is a cost, and considering we're having to do this, if we do have to do it, it would be because we are waiting on FEMA to reimburse us. We should be able to get the interest payments off of this reimbursed. But I'll turn it over to Grant to add anything on that, and then to Jason.
Thank you, Mr. President and Madam Chairman. As the President stated, basically we're seeking not to exceed $50 million, and the reason for this is right now our estimated costs are around $63 million. That's kind of worst case scenario. But the primary reason for seeking this funding is the possibility of being paid back by FEMA could be a year or longer. So we don't want to be to put all our money towards that and not be able to continue progress in the parish. So that's kind of the reasoning for doing this. And then I'll let Jason kind of explain the whole process of how this would be set up and all the details of that. So
Good. Thank you very much. I'm Jason Akers with Foley Udell, your bond counsel. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I want to draw your attention to one of the first things this resolution says is that it's for preliminary approval. And I mention that because this is just the beginning of the process. This resolution would allow us to make the application to the State Bond Commission and then come back to you for an ordinance for final approval at a later date, probably in the latter part of November, early December. So first of all, set the stage. This is just preliminary approval. You're not bound to anything. You're not incurring any costs as a result of this. However, as Grant and the Parish President mentioned, there is sometimes a long reimbursement process for FEMA qualifying expenditures. And you would either have to front those costs yourselves out of your own available fund balance or take care of it through another measure. This is another measure that just gives you an opportunity, should you desire in the future, to fund those costs with somebody else's money. Then when the reimbursements come back in, you use those reimbursements to pay down on the loan. If at the end of a draw period there's anything left that you haven't received reimbursement for, you would have the option at that time to decide whether you want to just pay it off or whether you want to amortize it over a remaining term, which would exceed, in this case, not longer than 10 years. It's a way to keep your costs low and give you the flexibility to preserve your fund balance as you go through the recovery process and then have options available to you as that recovery process draws to a close. We don't know how long it'll be. I know there's, from our conversations with many others, there are FEMA reimbursements that are still outstanding from Isaac, from Katrina. We hope it doesn't go that long, but we want you to be prepared to have an option just in case it does. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. File number 2021-0249 is now open for public comment. If there is anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0249. And that passes unanimously with Councilwoman Fonseca being absent this evening. Deviation. Foley and Jewell, on behalf of the administration, has requested the council deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0250. In addition, the clerk of court and register of voters have requested the council deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0251, an emergency ordinance. The proposed resolution and proposed emergency ordinance may have been emailed to all council members and placed at your seats. A motion and a second is needed to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0250, a resolution confirming an election date change pursuant to executive order of the governor, establishing a new date to canvass the returns of the election, mosquito abatement renewal, and providing for other matters in connection therewith, as well as file number 2021-0251, an emergency ordinance to request a temporary change of the polling places for the Louisiana Constitutional Amendments and parish-wide proposal election to be held on November 13, 2021 for the precincts of 1-2, 1-2A, 2-3, 3-3, 4-1, 4-1A, 6-1, 6-4, and 6-8 matters on the agenda. I have a motion by Ms. Perrier and a second by Mr. Fisher to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2021-0250 and file number 2021-0251. Is there anyone who would like to come up and speak on the deviations? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, public comment on the deviations are closed. Any council discussions? Seeing none, please cast your votes for the deviations only. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0250, a resolution confirming an election date change pursuant to executive order of the governor, establishing a new date to canvass the returns of the election, mosquito abatement renewal, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Akers?
Okay. Thank you. As you're all well aware, previously you had adopted a resolution calling for the renewal of the mosquito abatement tax by election to be held on October 9th. The governor and the Secretary of State have moved those October 9 election dates to November 13th, provide additional time for recovery from Ida. This resolution just merely recognizes that change that's been mandated by the governor and the Secretary of State, and also notes that your canvass date for the returns is going to change to Monday. You're reading on December 6th. this resolution, you actually don't have to do anything else with respect to publications, notices of election, or whatever. That actually is going to be handled directly by the Secretary of State. Our understanding is that there will be a publication parish-wide noting that all elections that were previously held, to be held on October 9th, are going to be held instead on November 13th. So just note that will probably be published in the official journal without anything that y'all have done. It'll just happen on its own. So this resolution, just like the last one I had, is merely procedural, and will confirm the change for your records.
File number 2021-0250 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0250. And that passes unanimously. Item number 2021-0251, an emergency ordinance to request a temporary change of the polling places for the Louisiana Constitutional Amendments and parish-wide proposition. Election to be held on November 13, 2021 for the precincts of 1-2, 1-2A, 2-3, 3-3, 4-1, 4-1A, 6-1, 6-4, and 6-8. Mr. Marino.
Good evening, Madam Chairman and members of the council and Parish President. Thank y'all for having me here, and thank y'all for entertaining the ordinance that the council secretary helped me put together along with legal, and that was all appreciated. It has to be done kind of on an emergency basis because several of our usual polling places sustained damage, and what we're trying to do is relocate those voters, and fortunately during a light election that we're expecting, relocate those voters to existing places. It's important not to have to change addresses because what we're doing is using existing ones except in one instance, and we need the time from now until then to mail out the necessary notices to all voters. So I'd appreciate you considering, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. File number 2021-0251 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2021-0251. And that passes unanimously.
Thank you, Councilman. Just want to point out these are only a temporary change for the next election. Thank you.
Okay. A motion and a second is needed to return to the regular order of the agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Fisher and a second by Ms. Gordon. Please cast your votes. And that passes unanimously. Reports, finance, and administrative activities. Item number 2021-0246, Hurricane Ida recovery update. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As a part of my report, first I want to talk about government buildings, and I'm going to, there are a couple folks in the audience here that I might break away to during the presentation, so I just wanted to be aware of that. So first is government buildings, and the courthouse is open now, weekdays 8:30 to 4 p.m., 8:30 a.m., 4 p.m. Second floor of the courthouse remains closed due to the damage to the courtrooms, and We're going to have some more information coming up to the council soon about the renovation to the courtroom, or the courtrooms. As you know, we do have a project to renovate the courtrooms in phases. Now that the courtrooms are heavily damaged and the court system has been started in a different location and is working in a different location, we are going to combine those phases into one phase and try to get that bid out ASAP. We should be able to save a fair bit of money by not having to mobilize and demobilize 3 times for those 3 projects. And that's a project that this council approved before my administration with Murray Architects. So we'll have that project continuing on, and they'll hopefully continue the next phases. So you'll see an introduction here fairly soon to continue the portion of that project. The 3rd floor of the courthouse is open for the parish employees as well as our council staff and our council members. The 3rd floor on the sheriff's side was already under construction for a repair for the AC. So those folks are not on the 3rd floor of the courthouse. That side did sustain a fair amount of damage as well. We have that section partitioned off from the rest of the courthouse. Again, the 2nd floor in the council chambers, the only thing that is accessible is this room in this back room right here. 1st floor, everybody has returned to the 1st floor and are working out of their offices. And I want to publicly say thank you to everyone who made that happen. Number 1, to get everybody into the courthouse. But number 2, thank you to Brian Champagne, Lance Marino, Tab Troxler, and our sheriff for working with the parish to get back into this 1st floor, and they were very patient with us as we made sure to get it fixed and all clear. But at this time, I want to really quickly just turn it over to Judge Marcel to give us an update on the court system and talk about where court is operating right now.
Thank you. Madam Chairwoman, members of the council, Mr. President, good evening.
Evening.
It's raining again. I am proud to report that the judicial branch of government in St. Charles Parish has reopened to full operations. Court was called to order at 11 o'clock a.m. this past Friday in temporary courtroom down the road in Luling, where cases were heard and people's disputes were resolved. It's not as important maybe to some as electricity, as running water, but for those of us who have dedicated our lives to an institution of government, for me personally, it was an overwhelming feeling. Because as our parish recovers and rebuilds, our citizens will need access to our courts. And through the efforts of many, collaboratively, we accomplished our mission in approximately 1 month. Now, on August 31st, I sloshed through a dark courtroom 2. That's the big courtroom where we have our jury trials. I looked in offices, there were ceiling tiles, wet ceiling tiles covering desks, computers, files. And what has been accomplished in just over 30 days through cooperation and collaboration that reflects the spirit of the people of St. Charles Parish has been remarkable. And I wanted to thank you, Parish President Jewell and his staff and his administration, the clerk of court, and all of those who collaboratively came together to reopen a branch of government that is essential to St. Charles Parish. Any questions that you may have for me? Yes, ma'am.
Do I need to be recognized? Oh, okay.
It's been a while. Miss Cluley.
Miss Cluley, it took me a little while to knot my necktie tonight, too, so I understand.
So the clerk of court is accepting filings
Yes.
again also?
Yes, ma'am.
That was my other question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. His staff has worked diligently and through very difficult circumstances, as so many people have. I apologize for this. I'm going to stay here because I got cell signal. I can't get cell signal at home, so. Look, thank you for this opportunity to come and give you this report tonight, and thank you for all of the ongoing support that we've received from the council as well as the administration in service to the people we all serve.
All right, thank you, Judge Marcel. And, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. If y'all would like to go see the courtroom, just let me know. We can go take a look at it. They are going to be able to hold a jury trial in the River Room, and additionally, is it the second floor?
Yes.
The second floor of the First American Building, the judges have chambers and are able to do hearings there. So you're able to go visit it if you want to, or if you break the law, you'll get to see it in a different way. So,
please come visit. Thank you.
All right. On Parks and Recreation, we've been working really hard to get some of our parks reopened to try to get some normalcy. Our a lot of our school children are still out of school, so we want to have a place for them to go, keep them out of trouble. So I just want to give you the list of the parks that are currently open for our residents. In New Sarpy, Collins Park, East Harding Park, and West Harding Park are open. Norco, Good Hope Street Park, Sacred Heart Park, Bonnet Carey Spillway Boat Launch is open. In Destrehan, Panther Run, Nottoway Park, Red Church Park. In St. Rose, Parquette Park, Fairfield Park, and the Mississippi River Levee Trail. In Luling, Lagatuda Park, R.K. Smith Park, Monsanto Park, not the tennis courts or ball fields, and in Ashton Park. In Ama, St. Mark's Park, Hawnville, Keller Street, Holy Rosary Park, Fashion Plantation Park. Bayou Gauche is the Bayou Gauche Park is open. DeZalman's J.B. Green Park, DeZalman's Walking Park, DeZalman's Boat Launch. I want to stress that you may not have heard a park that you might want open on there, such as the West Bank Bridge Park or the East Bank Bridge Park. Obviously, at the West Bank Bridge Park, we are staging some equipment that is aiding in debris pickup, but we really have to be careful when we look at our parks that have the lighting systems in place to make sure those systems are safe for people to go. We have a lot of parks that still have a lot of downed equipment. Our recreation staff, we're so thankful for them. They've been helping in so many different other tasks. In the last week and this week, they're really working hard to make sure all the parks are assessed. We're working with risk management to make sure that we're catching all of the damage and putting that towards our insurance. But as we open more parks, we will put information out to the residents on that. If you did not hear that park if you didn't hear that park on the list that I just read out, that park is closed. We do have signage up at our parks letting them know that it is closed, that they are closed, minus the ones that we just opened. Additionally, fall recreation, unfortunately, has been canceled. And then we are still housing Team Rubicon in the community center. If you may have forgotten, Team Rubicon is a group of volunteers. They come from across the country, and they're helping our residents gut homes, put tarps on their roofs, doing odds and end tasks for our residents right now. So we're very appreciative of them, and we have them still at the community center. Waterworks, right now we are under a flat rate billing cycle, and we've done this because we do not have access to the vast majority of our meters. While there are access to some meters, we can't read some and then do we can't read some meters and then do a different system for other folks. I'm gonna be quite frank, the billing software isn't that sophisticated. We're in the process of trying to change that billing software, and we have a limited number of billing clerks in that office to handle the 22,000 residential customers that we have. The main office building received damage, and that building is closed. But our billing folks and our office personnel are working out of the back building at 403 Milling Avenue. The phones went down due to Cox service, so they went back to using those cell phones. We're working with Cox to try to get the VoIP phones over there restored. Both the East Bank and West Bank treatment plants are fully operational and treating water that meets all regulatory guidelines. And then I just really want to thank our waterworks teams who really went above and beyond the call of duty, working day in and day out It seems just like yesterday, but they did, they got very, very, I want to say, ingenious with some of their fixes that they made just to get that water working. So a real testament to them and their ability to think critically to get these services back to our residents. So again, I want to thank those folks. Office of Community Services, the main office is still without internet, but they are using a hotspot and cell phones to communicate with their normal residents that often utilize the community services, and they're providing emergency assistance to our residents. The WIA office is up and running. It's running in the community center in I think it's meeting room A, that first meeting room on the left-hand side. So they are working out of there with residents. Planning and zoning. The P&Z meetings are back on schedule. Items canceled in September will be heard in October. Permitting is assisting with a large number of recovery permits. We're very thankful for all of our residents who have decided to go get permits. I will say this time and time again, the permit is there to protect the residents, and if you think about it, can also protect the contractor as well from a resident coming back on them if they have a third-party inspection that says the job was done correctly. And we have waived all the fees, so we're still encouraging residents to get those permits, and we've also streamlined the process. So residents only need to email what they need done to our office or call the Planning and Zoning office and tell them what they need done. Planning and Zoning is going to do the legwork to fill out those permits for them and work with those individuals. If residents are getting trailers brought to their homes for temporary housing, we do want you to register those with Planning and Zoning. Michael, I believe we are going to come out and check just to make sure everything is properly hooked up and is safe for the residents safe for the residents and families who are staying in those trailers. So if you have any residents who may have purchased a camper or their insurance has covered the cost of renting a camper or buying a camper to go in their front yards, they need to get that registered with Planning and Zoning, just so Planning and Zoning can come check. We've waived all of the rules for having trailers hooked up to utilities in people's front yards. Let's see. We also have code enforcement evaluating neighborhoods. You'll see that we're trying to get our parish looking back normal. A lot of those corrugated signs for contractors are being pulled up. If someone has a roofing company who comes to do their roof and they want to leave the sign in the yard, we're leaving that. But all of our public common areas, we're pulling all those things up. I don't recognize 99% of the people who've put those signs there. And we want our folks to utilize local businesses if possible. So we're getting all that up, trying to get our parish cleaned up. Additionally, I've been working with the levee district and the DOTD contractor, which is Cycle Construction, who's doing debris, to get our levees cleaned up. So the levee district is going to be doing their annual levee inspection with the Corps either this Wednesday or next Wednesday. And we want to have the levee cleaned up. We're also going to be putting out no dumping signs in various areas. If you have an area in your district where people are dumping that we need to get cleaned up and put the no dumping sign, I'm sure we all have them. But we have those signs coming in, and we're going to be putting them out. We also list our code of ordinance section of where it says that dumping is not permitted. And I think you're going to see the sheriff's office is going to be increasing their patrolling of dumping, because frankly you see it in broad daylight right now. Sewage, we have 4 lift stations currently on generator power, down from like 110 or so that we had, and then we have 2 lift stations that are still on bypass pump. The 4 lift station is Towers Lane, the Old Months plant, and Racetrack and Bernard. Sheriff's Office lift station has to be rebuilt because the control panel is fried on that. That's one of those ones on bypass pump. And then the Norco lift station, 2 pumps are being rebuilt there as well. And that's a 2 to 3 week turnaround on that. The Destrehan treatment plant is working, and they are working on to repair the aeration basin on basin number 1. And then basin number 2 needs to have new mixers put in So that is in process right now. Total 12 pumps on our lift stations need to be replaced, and several need fences replaced. So, of course, we're working through that with wastewater and our insurance. On the public works side, roadway crews have been working to help clean debris from drainage ditches. That's been ongoing since the day after the storm. Heavy equipment operators are focused on clearing debris from larger ditches. And then grass cutting crews are assisting those roadway crews. And then obviously, we have the canal cleaning that DRC is helping with, getting things out of our major canals. So far, we've removed 6,000 cubic yards of debris from our canals. Drainage crews are also focused on servicing the pump stations and identifying and correcting issues exposed by the storm. Electricians are focused on improving pump station systems such as SCADA. Garbage and debris. You know, a couple of people have tagged me about garage, and I had to figure out it was garbage. Okay, black bags. So we're working with Pelican, and we also have public works crews who are working constantly to pick up black bags. So we've employed our 3 boom trucks currently. I know we're supposed to be getting another boom truck here, so it'll probably, if we get it within the next month or so, we'll probably put it on this task as well. But over the weekend, they removed about 320 tons of black bags from the parish, and we're going to continue to work on that. I'm also working with DRC and the DEQ to figure out other solutions for black bags as well to help speed that up. Let me just say, I think residents who are bagging their debris are probably working in the best interest of themselves and their neighbors, trying to keep their area tidy. This isn't a rule that the parish has. This is a rule that DEQ has. It's very frustrating, but I want to let our residents know that everything that's on the streets, whether it's being picked up by DRC or by the parish or by Pelican, everything is going to be picked up, and we're committed to that. If we want to talk about debris, which I'm sure we do, we've picked up nearly 600,000 cubic yards of debris to date. If we want to put that into perspective, that's 5 football fields at 50 feet high of debris. If y'all want to go to the DMS site, we have 2 open now, one in the spillway where we are doing vegetative debris, and they're also burning some debris in that vegetative debris in the spillway. We weren't cleared to do C&D debris in the spillway. I've been working with some of our council members on the East Bank to locate another property to stage C&D. Otherwise, we are staging C&D at the Paul Mallard site as well as the vegetative debris. We believe we have around 2 million cubic yards of debris on the street. There's a lot of, well, I shouldn't say 2 million still left on the street because we picked up 600,000 of it. But we believe we have approximately 2 million cubic yards. Could be a little less, could be a little more. You just don't know because there's so many people, and I'm sure you've talked to your residents that still have not gutted their house yet, or they might be waiting for the debris to be picked up before they gut their house and put more debris out. And we've seen in a lot of areas of the parish where we have picked up debris and picked a street pretty clean, and then you come back a couple days later and it looks like you were never there in the first place. Just as fast as we can pick up debris in some areas, more debris is being put out. But again, we're going to continue to collect that debris until it's all gone. We have a total of 65 trucks working on this task, and we still ask if you are still in the process of putting debris out to make it go as fast as possible. If you have the real estate to do it, to separate your piles with vegetative and the construction debris. Additionally, we've been speaking with some of the council members. We have some angry mosquitoes out in the public right now, out in the parish. We have already done aerial spraying once, and I've asked our mosquito spraying contractor to increase the amount of spraying that we're doing on the ground. But we also just recently qualified again for aerial spraying, and that will be paid for by FEMA. So that will be taking place, Mike, is it tomorrow night or Wednesday night?
Between Wednesday and Saturday, depending on weather.
Okay, so we've notified, we put out a press release on this. Depending on the weather, between Wednesday and Saturday, they'll do another round of aerial spraying to kind of knock these these guys down. Let's see. All right, FEMA updates. Today, the governor announced a sheltering program to provide temporary housing. To register, you want to go to idashelteringla.com. Very important. I think we all should be sharing that. That's idashelteringla.com. Or you can call 844-269-0301. Again, that's 844-269-0301. We've been working on this with the state of Louisiana for a couple of weeks now because FEMA just has too much red tape in front of themselves to be able to do anything in a timely manner. So the state put out a bid for this housing, and they're working with Aptum, who won the contract on this. And so Aptum will be working to get the trailers out to the residents that need it. But it's important to note, too, that if you do need sheltering, if you need a direct housing component under IHA, you need to apply through FEMA at disasterassistance.gov. And there's also a telephone number that we will share again on our website and Facebook. But disasterassistance.gov, if you're applying via internet. You can also go down to the DRC. The DRC is currently at 13145 Highway 90 in Booty, which is the old bingo hall. And we will share some information here soon. It will be moving to the community center long term. So we will have it at the community center. It was supposed to be there already, but there was a couple of things in the way in the parking lot that we just got moved. And they're in the process of setting up there. So long term, our DRC will be at the community center, but right now it's still at the old bingo hall. If you've applied for FEMA, you can go there and have them pull up your application, and they can manipulate it. They can add documents. They can amend documents in there. So the DRC is a very good resource for residents who believe they might have filled out something incorrectly or they were denied for something they think they should be approved for. Our residents can visit that DRC. Additionally, we've had FEMA teams go out and canvass most of our hardest hit areas and most of our areas that are our poorer communities. So they have literally gone door to door and knocked on those doors and made sure people are signing up for the assistance that they deserve. And additionally, myself and 10 other parish presidents sent a letter to President Biden over the weekend requesting another 45-day extension for 100% reimbursement on categories A through B. That would put our expiration date of the 100% around November 24th. And the reason we sent that letter is because we think that just the sheer amount of debris, the sheer amount of time it took to get these operations ramped up because of blocked access from downed lines, lack of communications infrastructure to be able to communicate effectively in the first couple weeks of this event, kind of put us back. Normally, you get an automatic 30 days. It was already extended for 15 days for a total of 45. We are requesting an additional 45. So we sent that letter in, and we will push for that, and that'll give St. Charles Parish a larger share of our reimbursement back for things like debris removal, which we're expecting to be over $20 million at this point in time. All right, let's see. DSNAP registration for St. Charles Parish is open. There is a number to call. We sent that number out today. It's 1-888-524-3578. And that's between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. to register. Now, if you tried to call that number earlier, it was probably busy or it said that you couldn't be connected at this time. That's because they had an overwhelming number of people calling. When you call later in the day, it does seem that the calls are going through. So if you don't get through immediately, just keep trying and someone will answer the phone. Again, that's through the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. On Tuesday, October 5th, last names G through M will be serviced. Wednesday, October 6th, last names N through S. Thursday, October 7th, last names T through Z. And then Friday and Saturday, last names A through Z. All right. I do have a Cox Communications update that I can access here. Let's see if we can pull it up. All right. Kind of long, so bear with me. I'm just going to read exactly what was sent to me. We did request that the Cox Communications come to the meeting tonight. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make it. They do think that they can come to our next meeting. They did request to participate virtually, but I told them that the internet wasn't good enough for them to participate virtually. So it just is what it is. All right. Again, I'm just reading exactly what I got, so don't shoot the messenger on this. We sustained major damage on our network fiber rings serving St. Charles Parish near Destrehan and Luling. These lines were severed where there's also hundreds of downed power poles. The damage required us to completely rebuild our lines and equipment in these areas. This meant reattaching about 12 miles of fiber strands, coax cables, and network equipment, nodes, back to poles. The work involved splicing or repairing the hundreds of lines often contained in the fiber lines and replacing or resetting the lines and equipment, and then testing everything to make sure it was all working again. Sometimes making the repairs, we discovered additional damage. As of today, 60% of our customers in the parish are back online. We are working aggressively to get the remaining 40% of St. Charles Parish customers online as soon as possible. As of 5 p.m. this evening, major repairs on the East Bank network of St. Charles Parish have been completed. We are working to show, we are showing that a majority of our East Bank nodes have more than 80% of our subscriber devices online, with the exception of Norco. Currently, our customers are online in Muntz, 83% in the New Sarpy area, 80% in Destrehan, and 80% in St. Rose. Now that major repairs are complete in these areas, we will need to visit some customer homes to reconnect lines to the homes and fix issues inside of the home. Customers on the East Bank of St. Charles Parish who are still without service should contact us through our Cox app or by calling us at 877-556-7815 to schedule a service appointment when we can resolve any individual issues. Currently,
That number, please.
yes, ma'am. That number is 1-877-556-7815.
Thank you.
Currently, 51% of our customer devices are online in Norco. Our field teams have reported that there was new fiber damage in the area over the weekend, and it is being repaired and spliced this evening. Once these repairs are complete, we expect restoration to increase back to 80%. These numbers will continue to improve as customers return home and call to schedule individual repairs. Network repairs on the West Bank of St. Charles Parish, including Luling, Kelowna, Taft, Hawnville, Paradis, Booty, Ama, Desalmans, and Bayagosh, are expected to be complete by the end of the day, Wednesday, October 6th, as we continue to repair 7 miles of our coax cable infrastructure. Credits are being issued to customers who experienced outages due to Hurricane Ida. Credits are issued automatically after services have been restored to the area for customers who have experienced outages, which is 7 days or more. Credits for outages less than 7 days are available upon request. Those customers eligible for a proactive credit received an email or notification on my account on Friday, September 10th. Any late fees charged, assessed during this time will be reversed, and customers will not be charged for damaged equipment. And that is my Cox report. It looks like a majority of AT&T is in a better position than Cox. I don't think their infrastructure has sustained as much damage. But what I'm being told by AT&T's government affairs folks is that they need to make individual requests if their home has been damaged for those drop lines. So, and I don't have any ability to speed that up for anybody, but I know that that's what they're asking right now. Additionally, Kent, do you want to say anything as a part of the report for Entergy?
Hi, Madam Chair, President Jewell, fellow council members. I want to just give you a few updates on the entity restoration activities. As of today, 58% customers remain out. The majority of the customers that are out are on Bayou Gauche, the island area. We continue to work on that, but that's a pretty specific and very difficult replacement process. But we're taking it a piece at a time, and we'll eventually get everyone back to the system. Work continues on hardening the grid, and what I mean by that is the rework. I think I mentioned in the last council meeting that sometimes we had an issue to get some facilities up in the air so we could get those customers back into power, and we're looping back around now and making sure that everything is up to Entergy standards. Debris collection is in full swing. Contractors are collecting broken poles, wires, cross arms, transformers that were left behind. This is very typical, is that whenever we repair a new pole or cross arms or transformers with new, we'll set all that material down so that the contractor or the Entergy crew can go immediately to the very next one that needs attention. Then after the restoration is at a certain point, right about this time, we'll start having contractors come around and pick up that material. So I'm sure that there's probably going to be some folks in your area that talk about that we missed a pile or we missed some equipment. Just reach out to me. I'll investigate it and make sure that takes care of itself, or that we get that straight. Street light and private area light repairs are beginning. We've got a huge number of street lights and private area lights. Entergy has an application that's called LAMP, and we have indications where every lamp was prior to the storm. So we'll be able to use that application to go in and address each and every one of those lamps, whether they need to be repaired or whether they need to be replaced. That will all be done right there from that LAMP application. And the other issue that I wanted to mention is that the contractors to perform the work. So what they'll do is we'll just basically sweep St. Charles Parish, both West Bank and East Bank, and we'll have all of those folks go out there to do all of that work, that evaluation, that repair, that replacement, and that's in its beginning stages right now. And that concludes my report, barring any questions.
All right, thanks, Kent.
Thank you, guys.
And I guess I can have DRC come up unless we want to just get into questions. I'm sure some of it's debris related.
You want to let them speak now before Mr. Dufresne?
It's not about debris.
Okay.
It's about garbage, but not
Mr. Gibbs?
It's not about debris. No.
Okay.
I like this.
Wonderful.
I like this. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think President Jewell kind of gave you a good summary of where we are as far as picking up and how much debris has been removed. I think all of you will see that you have more trucks on the road now as the utility companies and everyone else, garbage trucks that were first in, got out of our way. We have moved more trucks in the areas. We're hoping you'll see an even bigger difference in the next coming week or so as we pick up more of the C&D piles as everyone is gutting their homes. I know I've met with a couple of people that have said they have some church groups coming and they're going to do kind of like a sweep through some neighborhoods to help gut and do some things. I would think if you know that they're going to do a whole street at a time, to let us know so we can kind of prepare for that. Because I don't want someone to do that one weekend and then we come on Friday and they aren't planning to come back maybe till next week or so. So if you know of anything like that going to happen, please let us know so we can schedule as we plan out zoning every day. So.
Yeah, we're about to enter phase 2 of this operation, so we're 30 days in. We want to be done with our first pass within 30 days. I feel like we're in pretty good shape on that right now. A couple of loose ends to tie out, and we'll take care of that over the next day or so. But the second phase of this, when we get on a street, we're going to pick up everything on the street. So first pass, we were focusing mostly on vegetative debris. In neighborhoods that had no trees, we were focusing on C&D debris. Second pass, we're going to take everything on that street. So they will not move to the next street until we've picked up both C&D and vegetative debris. So a lot larger percentage of the volume will be construction debris. And we're going to be very methodical in starting from one end of every trash zone and moving to the next. So I'll have those plans together and get with the appropriate staff and make sure that everyone knows here's where we're starting, here's where we're going. And I'd like to, really try to work a plan and not be moving them around. When we move trucks around to go after hot spots, we create more problems than we solve, because we end up leaving this area and people are seeing the trucks come in. They're like, where have they gone? Now we've moved them. So we're going to get on that plan and stick to it, and it's going to be a very disciplined approach, but you'll see dramatic changes over the next few weeks as we start to get this construction debris.
Ms. Perrier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a question relative to debris, so not skipping the line. And I didn't think of it till just now. So phase 2, I know, is a whole different animal because we're picking up different things. For the residents, what should they expect to see? Will they see the same types of trucks? Will they see different trucks? Will they see all the large trucks in the same amount or increased numbers? What will that look like? Because I know we're probably hiring some, subcontractors out there, and there's a lot of, somebody may see somebody private in front of their house picking up somebody else's garbage. What are they going to see from DRC to know that it's getting done by you guys?
Absolutely. So primarily, we're going to be using the larger trucks still. We have brought in some of the smaller trucks just to help supplement in some of the very narrow roads and very tight areas. So, I'd say the majority of your residents will still see the larger trucks. If we had to get you on the first go around with the smaller truck, we'll be coming back in with that same type of truck again. So really no change in that regard.
Okay,
be mostly the same equipment. I'm trying to keep the same people in the same neighborhoods because they're familiar with it and they know how to get in and out of those streets.
Okay. So the only reason they should see subs is if they're on a narrow street or a street that's hard to access,
Right, and even, but every truck, whether it's a small, large, has a DRC placard.
Okay.
So
That's what-
make sure it has a DRC, that blue placard on it, and there's usually a monitor with them.
Okay.
So there'll be an extra car
Okay.
with them.
Because I know some are paying to get their own debris removed, which I know y'all don't want to hear that, but, and it just, the neighbors, it's the biggest news on the block, and you walk outside and they go, well, why are they picking up that pile but not my pile? And it may not even be DRC. So that's, okay, thank you.
Okay. That's it, Mr. Jewell?
That's it for my barring any questions.
Okay, Mr. Dufresne? Oh, Mr. Fisher has a debris question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tom, I think you addressed it pretty good with making sure that we're catching all the passes. I had a couple residents been calling me, seeing a truck over here, not fully doing the street like that. So the second passes will follow the existing garbage routes?
Correct. We are using your existing garbage routes as our routes. So we're duplicating those routes, and then our plans will be done by trash route. So I will have a plan for every one of the trash routes on the East Bank and also on the West Bank, and there'll be specific plans just for that area.
I mean, because we catch a lot of, I didn't get mine, but he got his, and I think that's most of the phone calls we've been fielding a lot of. So, I mean, that combined effort of you guys doing that, that's appreciated. I think all the residents will do it. So if we stick to it, you got a bunch of good guys out there. I know in the Norco, New Salty area, they're doing a hell of a job. But it's just to make sure they concentrate. We got the spillway open now for them.
Yep.
They can make a fast run. We got poles out the way. So it's just so important that second pass be a really, really good effort and complete the streets. So
Absolutely.
Appreciate everything y'all doing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll go on to Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would have liked to have followed the garbage because this is what I think of what the insurance companies are doing to our parish. So I've been out and about in the parish since after the storm, and there has not been one single person I've spoken with that has been nowhere nearly satisfied with the adjusting that has been done from the insurance company. So I've been to 45 homes, and 240 people have either had lack of communication, lack of professionalism, just down and out, have not been contacted back from the insurance company. It's just utterly mind-boggling. So I called Matt. Matt gave me Jim Donlan's number. After 3 or 4 calls, he called me last night at 9:20, sat on the phone with him for 35 minutes, and I voiced my opinion of what's happening. I have experience in the adjusting world. I have a lot of friends who are independent adjusters and are professionals, been having license for years. They're worth their weight in salt. You know where they're at? All on the East Coast, because that's where all the publicity is because of the flooding. So we're having people who were frying French fries 3 weeks ago as fry cooks at McDonald's adjusting our homes. And it's absolutely absurdity. And I let Jim Donlan know that, and he's coming up with this malarkey about temporary license and all of that. So I've talked to numerous people who have missed work to meet their adjuster, and their adjuster doesn't show up. Doesn't call, doesn't say anything, right? 3 or 4 days later, someone else calls and says, I'm your new adjuster. That is ludicrous. That is mind-boggling. If you miss your payment, you get 3 or 4 days to make it back, or the insurance company is done with you. So I wasn't very happy, and I let Mr. Donlan know about it. It's sad. It really is sad. I've seen it. People come out and just take pictures. They don't document anything. They said the desk adjuster is going to do it. Well, how the hell are they going to adjust it if they don't know what room it is, what size it is, or anything? And now there's a third person in between because they're saying they're all overwhelmed. Bull. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it really makes me mad because a lot of my friends and a lot of my constituents are stuck with houses with water in them, and I've seen an adjuster come out and couldn't even tell them whether they could replace their roof when their whole roof was blown off and there's water in every wall, and they couldn't even give them the yes or no to get an electrician to come out and see if their appliance or their house would burn down. He said, I don't know. It was the first time I worked for this insurance company. That's the most unprofessional thing I've ever heard in my life. So Jim Donlan says the only way we can make any kind of change and let the people know is if we all voice our opinions. So I'm telling everyone in the parish and anyone I talk to, if you having any issues with your adjuster, and I'm sure you are because they probably came out and then didn't contact you for another 3 or 4 weeks, or your field adjuster didn't show up, or you can't get in touch with your desk adjuster, or now there's a third person in between, the in-between person, to file complaints. So here's the number, 800-259-5300 or ldi.la.gov. Please file complaints. He said there were 1,700 complaints for Laura, Delta, and Zeta, and it's up to 500 on Ida. I told him I could get it to 5,000 in 2 weeks because everyone I go to is the same thing, and it's absolutely a shame. It's an absolute shame the way our parish is being treated. Because if this would be in New Orleans, I promise you it wouldn't be like that because that's where the publicity is. But we're out here, so we're getting it. So tell your constituents, tell anyone who has an issue with their insurance company, which everyone does, 800-259-5300 or ldi.la.gov. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This wasn't what I was going to address, but I'm going to try to help you out here. I do this for a living. I'm going to try to be brief. The insurance companies that we have doing business in Louisiana are small, very regionalized insurance companies. They're not like your Travelers. They're not like your Liberty Mutuals, your CNAs. With that problem is each one of these insurance companies does not have a dedicated claims division. They have to hire what they call a third-party administrator, a TPA. And unfortunately, once this TPA is hired by the insurance company doesn't have a whole lot of say-so any longer in these claims. It's the TPA. And these TPAs are hiring French fry cooks. They're hiring anybody they can hire right now because it's very, very lucrative to these people. Where we're having our insurance agency right now has about 3,500 claims that we're dealing with. And to your point, we've got adjusters that come out, they're overwhelmed, they quit. The poor claimant has to insured has to find or alert the insurance company that their adjuster quit. This is ongoing. It's been ongoing. We have a conversation once a week with Jim Donnellan with the LDI. All the insurance agencies have a conference call with him, and this is the number one topic. It's not fixable right now. The only thing we can do is continually assist the people. The only thing we can do is pound the commissioner's office, but they really can't do much either. So the word patience is getting used way too much, and unfortunately, we've got people that can't live in their homes, can't get their homes adjusted, can't get any money for ALE. ALE is a huge issue right now. Loss of use of your home. These insurance companies are at the will of the TPA, and the TPAs aren't doing a very good job. So I wish I could offer a resolution to all the people that are suffering out there, but if this happened to be in New Orleans, I think we would be unfortunately under the same situation, because these insurance companies are too small to be able to handle this. And the LDI knew this. I don't want to use a cliche, but this was almost a perfect storm. And if it hadn't moved into New Orleans, we'd be in much worse shape. So, the only thing we can offer is patience. I'm dealing with hundreds, thousands of customers right now, and our constituents. So, to your point, what you've done was ideal, but the department can't do a whole lot either. We're at a very difficult situation, and all we can do is communicate. The adjusters don't call. I'm dealing with our insureds directly when they have a problem, and you have no idea how full my inbox is every morning, and I feel so bad for these people. So to that, I just wanted to address that. Here's the real reason I wanted to talk. I wanted to tell Matt, you and your administration, I want to go on record and compliment you guys on a job that you have done. It's been amazing what has been accomplished in 30 days, 35 days now, and I want to thank you for that. Again, we have a ton of constituents out there that don't think a whole lot's getting done. And unfortunately, when you have 22,000 residents, 21,700 were affected, not everybody can get addressed immediately. So you and your departments, have the ones that are part of this restoration, I do want to compliment you guys on a job well done. So I definitely wanted to go on record for that. In the first 2 years, you had biblical floods, you had a virus, and you had an unbelievable hurricane. So hats off to you, and thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you. Getting gray hair in my beard. I will say this. I think, me and Julia talked about this. She said her father left the parish and had to go take care of business somewhere else, and he was gone for a week?
He was gone for about 2 weeks.
He was gone for 2 weeks, and then he came back to the parish, and it looked completely different to him. So I think that kind of puts it into perspective. You kind of see these small steps every day. You don't really see the big stuff happening, but when you come back and you look at everything as a whole, I'll tell you, I spent the whole weekend, the West Bank. I rode the entire West Bank on Saturday. I got home. I took down my carport, put it by the road Sunday morning, and then I rode the East Bank. And I've seen a huge, huge improvement. That being said, there are still areas that are very heavy out there with debris. And I think I mentioned this, but Planning and Zoning rode their areas today. I might not have mentioned this. And they helped send me back some information that I've given to DRC on the areas that are still very, very heavy, especially our narrow streets. But it's getting done. It's just a lot. And, DRC knows that if any trucks come available, that they're coming to St. Charles Parish. So they do have more trucks on the way. That's going to help speed up this process a little bit more. But I appreciate your comment.
And I'll add to that really quick. His specific words were significant progress. So, sometimes we get caught up in our own bubble. I think for him to just take a step back and then come back and see what we've done made it a little easier to see. I know we're all in it, in the thick of it every day. It's hard for the residents, it's hard for us. But, go out to Metairie for a day or so and come back, maybe. You'll see how different it looks.
Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, October 18, 2021 at 6 p.m., Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hornville. Items number 2021-0223, 2021-0224, 2021-0232, 2021-0233, and 2021-0252. I have to read that part, huh? I do. Meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Lafourche Basin Levy District, Wednesday, 10/6/21, 6 p.m., Lafourche Basin Levy District Office, 21380 Highway 20, Vacherie. Communications District, 911, Monday, 10/11/21, 5 p.m., Council Chambers. Civil Service Board, Tuesday, September 12th, 6:30 p.m., Council Chambers. Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, September 14, 21, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. St. Charles Parish Council, Monday, September 18, 21, 6 p.m., Council Chambers. Announcements. Governor Edwards has rescheduled the October 9th, 2021 Parish Proposition and State Constitutional Amendment election to November 13, 2021, due to statewide state of emergency caused by Hurricane Ida per Executive Order number 2021 JBE 13. Important dates for the November 13, 2021 election. Wednesday, October 13, last day to register to vote in person or by mail. Saturday, October 23rd, last day to register to vote online at govote.com. Tuesday, November 9th, last day to request absentee by mail ballots. Early voting, Saturday, October 30th, 21, Monday, November 1st through Saturday, November 6th. 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., West Bank Courthouse, 15045 River Road in Hornville. East Bank Auterbury Building, 14564 River Road, New Sarpy. Friday, November 12th, last day to register to receive voted absentee ballot. Saturday, November 13, Election Day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Arrangements are currently being made for several polling place relocations for the November 13, 21 election, which were damaged due to Hurricane Ida. Special matters to be considered by the council. 2021-0159, calendar of official action for the 2022 budget set new. Public hearing dates, revised dates, Wednesday, November 10th, 2021 at 9 a.m., Wednesday, November 10th at 1 p.m., Monday, November 5th at 6 p.m. Mr. Dewsome.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As a result of Hurricane Ida, we had to push some things back, specifically the budget, so we are changing the dates. As you read, we're going to do 2 hearings on Wednesday, November 10th, since we're required to have 3 budget hearings that have to be on 3 days. We can just have 3 hearings, so we can close the first one and start the second one. And if you guys like this format, we might be able to try this in future years and try to knock them out. And so we can do all 3 in one day, but I didn't want to get that far. So I'll save that last day for the council meeting. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. File number 2021-0159 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this item. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While I appreciate what you tried to do here with 2 on one day, the proposed having 2 hearings on one day, I don't know how I feel about that. There are times where that first budget hearing is really the meat of it. The second one is adjustments, and then the council meeting, kind of a last chance effort. Mm-hmm. Try to get it done quickly on the council meeting days, so because we've done all the hard work the other 2 hearings. I think this maybe leaves room for a lot less participation from the council and the public. Having one at 9 o'clock and one at 1 o'clock on the same day if one person is unavailable that day, or 2 people or 3 people, they've really missed pretty much all of the budget hearings. I don't know if there's some reason other than we're just trying to knock it out, but maybe if we could do the day before, November 9th at 9 a.m., and then the next day, November 10th at 1 p.m. So those same times, just a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then the council meeting itself would be the 3rd. Just like I said, in an attempt that somebody has something come up on that one day, they've missed the meat of all the discussion. They've missed all opportunity to really dig in and have time to make adjustments if necessary. Because the council meeting is, again, you want to finish it up right there.
Sure.
So I'd like to make a motion, unless you guys have a reason that the 9th doesn't work, the day before that one.
No, the Tuesday's fine, as long as it takes place around that time, and of course, I
Yeah.
know Thanksgiving's coming up. It just has to be approved prior to December 1st, so
That way we
that's the
separate
main-
it, yeah, understandably. So we separate it out. Let's say somebody has to work on the 10th, they can come to the one on the 9th,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Typically, that first meeting is all the departments. That
Okay.
second one is typically the outside agencies that come and present.
Okay.
And then, of course, the final one is any changes or.
Okay, so I see that they've already motioned. So November 9th, 9 a.m., November 10th, 1 p.m., November 15th, 6 p.m. Parish President, you have a comment before we vote on that?
No, I'm just going to say that if we've moved to this format, I have to read the budget message to start each meeting this time, all 3 times, so.
That is not the case, and I believe that the chairman controls that. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. All right.
That's it? Okay. File number 2021. Well, no, we have a motion by Mr. Gibbs and a second by Mr. Fisher. Right. A motion by Ms. Perrier. And a second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes for the change of dates. And that passes unanimously. File number 2021-0159 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to come up and speak regarding this, no, we did that. Any council discussion?
Madam Chair, I believe you set a time limit on the budget message this year, then 5 minutes, 3 minutes?
So we casting our votes on to accept the new dates? Please cast your votes to accept the new dates for the calendar of official action for the 2022 budget. And that passes unanimously. Adjournment. A motion and a second is needed to adjourn. I have a motion by Belloc and a second by Fisher. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that passes unanimously. Have a great evening. We are officially adjourned.